Hello, hello.
Good evening. Welcome to Sunday Night Satsang with myself, John Homewood, and
Michelle McLennan. Hi, everybody.
hello. And we like to know who we're talking to, so if you can, in the comment section, just type up your name, where you're watching from, and if you have any comments while we're speaking tonight, if you'd like to just type them up, any questions. We don't always get to them while we are live. Sometimes we do, but we definitely get to you afterwards. So do send us a message, say hi, and we also love getting the hearts, so thank you for that. And if you're watching on YouTube, if you can, press the like and the subscribe button. It helps get the word out there. And if you can share it with your groups and with your friends, that also helps distribute it a bit better.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, Mr. Leeson. Hi.
Good to have you with us.
Yeah.
Popped up first tonight.
Yeah. What are we talking about tonight?
I'm not sure. What are we talking about tonight?
A world between.
In between worlds.
In between worlds.
Or something.
We all
it's a bit
feel
hazy.
Yeah, we all feel as if we're a bit between two worlds. So we're going to be sharing what we have to share on that particular topic. We start the satsangs with a centering meditation, and then we go through some astrological updates. You got something to share?
Yes, I want to.
Good. And then we close with another meditation. And satsang, for those who are new, who don't know what satsang means, it's not a religious term in any way at all. I know there's a group of satsangis who also you have their satsangs, but satsang is not to do with any group or any particular movement. It's just the gathering of wisdom. It's just a sharing of wisdom. So that's all it is. So hopefully we have some wisdom that may resonate with you tonight. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah, if you haven't already, please let us know where you're from and who's joining us. Hello, Paula. And Aletta, welcome.
Paula is from Portugal.
Yep.
Aletta.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good. All right, so let's just start this evening by doing a short centering meditation. And the word meditation, again, it's not really a religious term. It merely means to empty the mind, no mind. So we take a few moments to just drop the stories that we've been telling us today, and we become more present, more centered, more real, more alive. So that's what meditation really is designed to do. There are two types of meditation. One is just a centering meditation, the other one is a visualization. And what I tend to do to start the satsangs is not so much a visualization, it's just a way of clearing the mind and just being here now. Very simple, be here now. If any of you have challenges in your life and problems that you need to sort out, you might find being here now actually activates a higher level of intelligence and allows you to be aware of creative problems, creative solutions to the problems that you might be dealing with in your personal life situation at the moment. So let's just be here now, shall we? You don't have to close your eyes for this, but I prefer to, and it just helps withdraw the mind from the circumstances or the situation around you, and just center yourselves in the present moment more. So hello Sonia, hello Mandy, hello Hartmut.
Sue's here. Marta's here.
Yes.
Sharon, Lee.
Hi. Hello
Lovely to see you all,
Susie.
Diane.
Yeah.
That's great.
Right, okay. So settle back if you want to close your eyes. That's beautiful. And just take a deep breath in. And release it. Surrender the breath. So much of our day is spent in the doing mode. And the in-breath can be seen as a doing, but the out-breath is the letting go, the surrendering, and it's the out-breath, it's the letting go that drops us into closer alignment with who and what we really are, which is a being. So take another very deep breath in, and as you breathe out, just connect more with the life that you are, the life that animates your body. that animates your mind. It's the energy field of presence. Take another very deep breath in, right down to the toes this time, and up to the top of the head. And then surrender that breath as well. And surrendering the breath, the out-breath, is always an act of trust. You're trusting in life. Because at the end of the out-breath, there we are given another in-breath. And if we didn't trust life, then we wouldn't relinquish the breath. So every time we breathe, it is a process of aligning ourselves with the greater intelligence we call life. So just keeping your attention on the breath, but not trying to control it in any way now, but keeping your awareness aligned with the rhythm of life in this moment. You might like to bring the attention of your awareness to the tip of your nose and be aware of the in-breath and the out-breath and the temperature change between the two. Just noticing, just aware, not judging in any way, but just noticing the in and the out-breath and the change in temperature as perceived through your nose. We're handing over now the breath to the intelligence, the same intelligence that beats our heart. The same intelligence that takes the oxygen from the lungs and distributes it around the body to every single one of the billions of cells in our body, every moment of the day. Whether we're awake or asleep, this intelligence is active within the body, metabolizing the food to give each cell the nutriments and the energy that they need, taking away the waste products, and oxygenating the whole body every minute of the day and night. Just being aware of the breath, the in-breath and the out-breath. It's called the breath of life. It's the very first thing we do when we are born, as we take that deep breath in. And it's the very last thing we'll do before we leave this human body, is breathe out. And this is a rhythm of life that's installed in the body. So for a moment, just be grateful for this incredible intelligence that animates the body, that breathes us, that beats our heart. And right now is enabling you to hear. Hearing is not so much a doing as an alignment with being. The more present we are, the more open we are to hearing, to listening, to perceiving directly, not through the mind, but directly through the senses. Besides my voice, what else can you hear in your environment right now? Listen to the faintest, softest sound. Without judging it, without even necessarily labeling it, just being the awareness that's listening, that's perceiving. And notice that in order to truly hear soft sounds, we have to become very quiet inside, very still. And as the activities of the mind slow down, there's an emerging of awareness, of being, of presence, And this is who and what we eternally are. That's brought to the surface in quietness, in stillness. We become aware of our eternal spirit, eternal unconditioned consciousness that is lying just beneath the noise of the mind, ever present, waiting for our full return to the awareness of being. Become aware of what it feels like to be alive right now in this moment, of what it feels like to have a human body, perhaps seated on a chair or lying on the bed or sitting on the floor. Just become aware of that connection between your body and the world around you. Maybe the chair, you can feel the chair. Maybe you can perceive the temperature of the air in the room on your cheeks. As you continue to be aware of the quiet sounds that surround you. And notice the stillness within that is aware of all of this. And you might like to feel an opening in your heart at this time, a sense of gratitude for just being here now, a sense of gratitude for this intelligence called life that is beating your heart, that's breathing you, and that ultimately guided you to be with us in Satsang, right here and now. Gratitude is the most powerful prayer we can ever say. Just thank you. It's such a high vibration, just a pure frequency of consciousness is gratitude. Not to anyone necessarily, just the appreciation of life in this moment. That's all. And as you feel your heart's opening and expanding, and let's embrace everyone else in our heart on the satsang, connecting with them energetically and just saying thank you for them and their shared energy right here, right now. And let's expand this energy of openness, which we may call love, to our family, our loved ones, and expand it to our pets, our environment, expanding it to all of nature, and all those who cohabit this beautiful planet that we call Earth. Thank you. Take a deep breath in, a long breath out. And gently, when you're ready, may slowly open your eyes and see how you feel in this moment. See if you feel a bit more centered, a bit more alive, a bit more peaceful.
Lovely.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here tonight. And thank you to our live audience that we have in the room.
Hello everyone.
Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. So tonight we're going to be talking about in between worlds.
In between worlds. So you might like to type up in the comments box if you feel a resonance with that title, with that topic.
Be nice to know.
Yeah, because many people are feeling a disconnection from the old world, the world we've been born into, the world we've been programmed to participate in. And yet there's a feeling that the new world is not born yet. And so there may be a sense of loss, a sense of emptiness. So let us know in the comment section if you resonate with that. What's happening with the stars at the moment?
There's a lot happening actually. So I'm not going to give you a whole astrology forecast, but this week we've got the start of an eclipse season, which starts on Friday, that's the 14th. And then we have the solstice, we have retrograde planets, we have Venus retrograde, Mercury retrograde, so back up all your data before that happens, because it's inclined to sometimes align with losing data, losing self.
Should I go and do it now, or is it a rush?
Don't do it now. No, you've got a little bit of time, but I would do it this week if I were you. But I think the big themes are very evident, that we have this major theme shift. It's actually called a nodal shift. It's the shift of the fates, the nodes of destiny, and they've moved out of one sign and moved into another sign. And basically the focus is on the sign of Pisces, which is actually our connection. So it's actually, what that really is meaning is that we're moving in terms of our normal cycles, but also much, much bigger cycles. We're actually moving out of a very, very long cycle into a new cycle. So there's a few endings and beginnings. We've discussed that before. But we really are moving into an alignment. Our sort of focus needs to be on our inner alignment. That is very clear, without going into too much astrology, that we're moving from the head to the heart, that we're moving from separation to oneness, although that doesn't look like that very much in the outside world, because in the outside world it seems to be the opposite. So we just thought we'd talk about that tonight and see how we can navigate these changes, because at the moment it seems very uncertain. A lot of people are feeling very, very uncertain with the future. They don't know what to expect. I don't think anybody really does. So do we go into concern and anxiety, or do we trust life more? And that, where do we place our emphasis? Do we place our emphasis on doing more, hustling more, or do we place our emphasis on being more and being more present? So that's really what we want to talk about. But that's the major theme, and then it's short term, long term, really big endings and new beginnings. But the whole year is kind of iffy, because the energies are going backwards and forwards. So what we're experiencing now isn't a quick ending and quick beginning. It's a process. It's almost like an incubation.
Yeah. And I see in the comment section quite a few people resonate with what we said. Resonate with this between worlds at the moment. A lot of uncertainty. Yeah. And also, a loss of sort of being driven by old goals, a loss of that vision, the old vision. And a lot of people feeling, well, where do we go from here?
Where do I fit in? What do I do?
Fit in? Yeah.
I don't really enjoy what I used to do. I'm not sure what I should be doing. Am I living in the right place? Am I doing the right work? Am I married to the right person? A lot of people are feeling that it's a bit of a confusion, and a lot of people are sort of in that undecided place and feel that they should know the answers. And right now, especially in the next couple of weeks, it might not be that the answers are very clear.
You said to me yesterday or the day before, we were looking at the sky, and I saw that red planet sitting up there in the sky, and you said it was Mars. How's that playing out at the moment? Is that any relevance?
Yeah, it is very relevant, because Mars has been, it's retrograde, it's been going backwards, it's getting us to review, re-look at. It's in a very, very sensitive sign, so people are feeling very sensitized, maybe quite defensive. There's been a lot of emotional upheaval for many people. Mars's, planets are happy in some signs and not so happy in other signs. It's not very happy in Cancer. It's too emotional. So a lot of people are feeling more emotional, more insecure about money, about home, about where they're living. So there's been a lot, and that's still continuing. as well.
Yeah, yeah. And the other day we were talking to someone about astrology, and which I know almost nothing. But the way I see astrology is not that the stars are actually doing anything to us. I see them rather like hands on a clock. That they're merely telling us about flows of energy. They're telling us the time, the same way that the hands of the clock don't give us time, don't make time. They just tell us about time, where we are in time. And so that's just my way of looking at astrology, that it's not necessarily that we're controlled by Pluto or Neptune or Mars, but they are just the hands on the clock telling us about flows of energy that we are interacting with. And I think it's good to have a look at the hands of the clock to know what time it is, and it's also good to look at the heavens and see what flows of energy we are currently navigating in our lives. Because if we can accept, I think, what is, it makes the journey a lot easier. It's when we believe that the universe is a random place that it can get very unsettling. But when we look at the stars, for example, we start to see a pattern, we start to see a purpose, and it does help center us a little bit in the trust of the universe. The word cosmos means order. And when we can see the order, even if we can't see it, if we know the order is there, it does help us with one of the most vital ingredients that we need going through this transformation, and that is trust. Trust and faith are basically twins. They go together, and we need both at this time.
Yeah, I think what you said there is very true. It's the knowing that we are not in a random universe, and that there are cycles of energies. Let's just call it that. You don't even have to call it by the names of the planets or the signs or anything like that. But there are descriptions, and for example, the practice of astrology has been around probably for 6,000 years. So it's not a new thing. It's not a woohoo new age tool. It's a very, very old science, art that's been around for as long as we can remember. And so it just helps us to see that there are patterns and there are cycles. And we're in a major, major turning cycle at the moment, with energies changing and shifting. And that's what we can all feel. We can feel that we're not the same as we were, that it's not the same as it was, that our interactions aren't the same, that our earth is not the same. Things have changed radically, especially over the last few years, but they're continuing to change. So I think it's just, my biggest thing with all this change that we're experiencing now is to embrace change. Just don't see it as wrong. And if you're in a stage where you're feeling stuck, or you're feeling like you really don't know what the next thing to do is, just stop and accept it. Because I was speaking to someone yesterday and just saying that, in the ocean, we are remembering at the moment that we are the ocean, that we're not separate. That's what our mandate is. That's what our mission is to remember who we actually are. And I was sort of giving the analogy of these times being very watery. If you're at sea and you're a surfer or you're a boogie boarder or something, you are either riding the wave, or you're waiting for a wave, or you coming down from a wave. And this is a time at the moment of I think they call it hanging ten or something, where they're actually just in the trough, and you can't struggle. You've got to wait for the next wave, or just be open for the next wave to come. The more you struggle, the worse it is, and you could even get into trouble. So it's not about struggling and trying to find the next thing if the next thing's not arising. It's to allow it to unfold, is the way I'm seeing it. It is an incubation period.
So the most important thing we can do at the moment is no doing at all. It's to surrender. Surrender to just life as it is. If there's action that needs to be taken in the moment, you take the action, but you take the action without the need to control, without the need to manipulate, without the need to secure a future. Just take the action from a surrendered place. But if there is no action to be taken, as you say in surfing, you hang 10. You're just waiting for the next wave, which is always on its way. No doubt about it. Just surrender in a place of peace. And I'll tell you why this is really important. Is because as we make this transformation from the old world to the new world, the powers within us, the power of what we think and what we feel, is being activated, being amplified. So in the old world, we were very much controlled by the world of things, the world of form, the world outside of us. But as we go through this transformation, we find that the world within us is way more powerful than the world outside of us. And this transformation that we're taking at the moment is really a split between, we've spoken many times before about that, is a split between false evidence appearing real. I am what I do, I am what I have, I am what other people think of me, and my power is in authority outside of me, to the world of love. The world of fear, false evidence appearing real, and the world of love. And as we make this transformation, it's really important that we, moment to moment, build the world we want. So the old world of fear is very much about the emotions of fear, the emotions of anxiety or fear or shame or regret. Those all fit the paradigm, the vibration, the broadband vibration of fear. Where love is a very different one, and that's why I mentioned earlier the two words, trust and faith. Those two words align us with the path of love. You see, fear is all about having your insecurities met through promises on the outside that things are going to work out a certain way. So fear promises you everything and delivers you nothing. Love, on the other hand, promises you nothing and delivers you everything. And that takes trust, because there's no certainty. You mentioned that earlier. There's no certainty. There's no certain future at the moment. And it takes trust to know that you are guided and you are protected every single step of the journey. And in knowing that, we create that, because that's how powerful we are. If we fear and we have negative perceptions in our mind about what's coming towards us, well, we're giving energy to that. So we know from quantum physics that the world doesn't really become solid until we perceive it. It remains in the quantum potential. But the moment we fix a thought or an emotion on it, we solidify it. So to have your thoughts and your feelings in alignment with what you want to create is really important at this stage. But we are in that in-between stage, so it's not necessarily easy. It's like the caterpillar being inside the cocoon. It doesn't know what's ahead of it. It has no idea about a butterfly. It has no idea at all. In fact, it would like its old world to be more secure, the world of the caterpillar. It would like to know that the leaves are going to be certain and that it's going to rule the whole branch. You know, that's what the caterpillar would like. It's the old world. But then it goes through this process that humans are going through at the moment, this process of between worlds. It doesn't know. And what happens there for the caterpillar is that its body basically disintegrates. Its old world becomes caterpillar gunk. And out of that chaos, and it is chaos, you get what's called imaginal cells, which then create the new potential for a brand new life form called a butterfly.
Yeah, and that's so interesting, that, because that's that trough that I was speaking about. It's that no thingness. It's that nothing's really happening, space, which we often avoid, because it's like avoiding the void. Because it's like, oh, I don't want the void. Don't give me the void. I want to know when the next wave's coming. But if it's not coming, it's not coming. So when you're in the void, that is the place of pure potentiality. That's the place where the veil is thinner. That's the place where we get answers dropping in, and we know something with an inner knowing. So again, on that wave analogy, if you're just relaxing into the beingness of the water of the ocean, and you are allowing the next wave to come, you're going to be much more sensitive to the flow of water, to the movement of water, and to know when to actually start to ride that wave. And that is what we're going through. We are stripping away at the old, and we're kind of preparing ourselves on an ongoing basis. It's not a one-time thing. We're preparing ourselves for something that we don't know what it looks like. We've never lived in this exact time, in this exact formation of the way we are on this planet ever before. So we can either sort of go into it kicking and screaming and hustling and stressful and doing it all the same way as we've always done it, or we can shift. And we can say, okay, I've done that. That didn't work very well. So how can I do it differently? Can I surrender more? Can I be more compassionate to myself and others? Can I be less critical of myself and others? Less judgmental? And just see what happens. Because everything starts to shift. When we soften and we move from our heads to our heart, everything starts to shift in our environment. That's just a given. If we're in fear and anxiety, we are shutting off the flow. We're literally shutting off the energy flow. As soon as we open and soften, we are increasing our frequency. And what we tend to do is when we're fearful, we tend to do this and make ourselves smaller. Whereas I'm seeing this as actually allowing our vibration, our frequency, to expand in the unknowing. It's the opposite.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier about the ocean, returning to the sense of identity with the ocean rather than the wave or the drop of water.
Yeah.
Now, if you think that that we individually are all drops of water, we have a little membrane around us that keeps us separate as a drop of water. And what does the water have to do to, in fact, become more one with the ocean? It has to lessen the membrane. How do we do that? Well, soften. That's one of the ways, to soften. And the membrane that keeps us separate is a polarized membrane. They found in water, it's the fourth state of water, where there's a thin membrane around the water droplet, which is polarized. And as we drop our polarization, so we become softer and we merge back into the oneness of the ocean. And that polarization is being amplified by the world of fear, the old world. So if you think of what we've gone through over the last 4 or 5 years, it was very much a campaign, a marketing campaign, selling fear to us. Fear of, some substance outside of us is going to kill us, and your next door neighbor is dangerous, etc., or you're a danger to grandma or whatever. It was all about separation. And that is a polarization based on a lot of negativity. And this transformation that we're going through now, naturally, is the opposite of that. But the old world would like to keep us separate, to keep us individuated in our little droplets, because obviously we are easier to control. If we know that we are the ocean, that we are powerful beyond belief, we awaken from that dream, from the matrix, which is our destiny. But we have to co-create that destiny. And it's by realizing who and what we really are. We are the ocean, for a brief moment experiencing itself as a water droplet. And how do we regain entry into the ocean? By softening, by dropping the polarization. And one of the major substances of being polarized is judgmental, to be judgmental. And that, if you look at what the media always tries to get us to do, is to be opposites. There's this side and there's that side. And that polarization goes into our psyche and makes us feel more separate. Where the return journey, which we're on at the moment as a species, returning back to our true essence, is to drop the polarization, to soften, drop the hard boundaries, let down the fences, know that thy brother is thyself. The other is who you really are. Now, the old worlds are basically separated like this. The old world is very much about form, it's about structure, it's about separateness. The new world is very much about energy, and we know that from quantum physics that energy is just a field. It's a field of interconnectedness. You might like to see each other, for example, the forms as fractals, all fractals of each other. A hologram, one part contains the whole. That's a new way of seeing it, that we're all connected. Even in form, we're all connected. But beneath the form, there's the energy. And energy is a field. And as you change one part of a field, you change the whole field. So we connect with this field most strongly through our hearts. And what we hold in our heart, we are busy creating on the outside. So the mind is the one that is the organ that's most manipulated through fear. And if we drop down into our hearts to have a feeling of oneness, a feeling of connection, a feeling of community, a feeling of empathy and compassion and caring, that is the ending of the fear-based me. And that's the coming home to the love-based me, the real, what's called the being. The being that we are is a being of love. The human, or personality, or the ego is very much embedded in separateness, and separateness is very much to do with vulnerability, and vulnerability is a fear-based perception of reality. So it's to step out of being a somethingness, a form, into a nothingness, which is presence. No form.
Yeah.
That's who and what we really are. The moment you only define yourself by form, you're in fear of that form dissolving, or being attacked, or not, or being insufficient.
Yeah.
Where the field, the ocean, does not fear any of that. The ocean's just the ocean.
So then there's going to be fear, then there's going to be separation, then there's going to be a fear of rejection, and then you have to protect yourself, and then there's barriers, and then there's walls, and then there's judgment. So it's just for each of us to realize that that's the way it's been, and that this is changing, and it can only change if we are actively participant in that. So as we see our judgment, we can make an absolute choice right there to not judge. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's you're judging politics, you're judging another person, you're judging yourself, it doesn't matter. Just notice what happens to your body when you judge and when you go into criticism with yourself or others. And so it's not to become just this person who doesn't have opinions. It's when we get into our attachment to that, whatever that is. I am this, you are that, and you shouldn't be like that. That's where the suffering comes in. So it's to actually come back into a middle place. And these miracles happen in that middle place. Things happen that you would never imagine. People start to shift in ways that you would never imagine. And we're under the impression that we've got to make it happen. We've got to make it clear. We've got to ram the point home. That's the old way. And that's what's led us into wars, continual wars with each other, with other countries, and the stuff that's going on our planet. So how can we be the change makers? And if you're on this call, then you're one of them. So none of us are better than anybody else. We're all in this. We're all in the ocean. And it's for us to now take responsibility for our role in the new, in bringing in the new. And the bringing in the new is frequency. It's all frequency. Astrology is frequency. Different sort of modalities like homeopathy is frequency. It's frequency related. And it's for us to realize that we're all frequency, and we can change our frequency. We can change it very quickly, actually. It's in an instant you can change it.
And an incredible teacher, Eckhart Tolle, says awareness is the greatest agent for change. So let's use this from a practical point of view. The old world is very much based on form, on thingness, and on separation. So every time we find ourselves withdrawing from the world around us, from drawing from other people, every time we find our membrane around us hardening and the barriers going up, the fences going up, just know that we're walking in the direction of false evidence appearing real. That is the egoic identity, the personality identity. And so in that moment we are aware, I am separating myself. Is that what I want? Is that the world that I want to create? Is that the world I want to live in? Is that the world I want to participate birthing? The world of separateness? The answer is probably no. No. We would rather have a world of connection, of caring, of oneness. So in this moment, just in this moment, let's take a deep breath in and surrender the breath. It's in the out-breath that we soften. It's in the out-breath that that membrane of polarized perception around us diminishes in the out-breath. And then we start to feel more connected. We have to be the change we want to see in the world. If we want a more harmonious, more peaceful, more joyous world, we have to be that, step by step by step. And the way we do that is become more aware. Am I closing? Am I separating myself out? Am I building more barriers in this moment? Am I protecting my ego, my personality? Or am I opening? Am I softening? Am I dissolving the sense of self invested in an identity of the mind, of the ego? And that's a choice that we get to make moment to moment to moment. If we made an erroneous choice the moment before and we shut and we separated ourselves, not a problem. This moment we can choose again. In this moment we choose to let go of those preferences or those judgments that we've had about yourself or about others and soften. As the drop of water softens, so it merges once more back into the powerful ocean of its true essence. And that's what we are going through at the moment, in this in-between stage. And to recognize that energy is way more powerful than form. So just on that note, if you have a particular issue in your life, a physical issue that you're dealing with, or a relationship issue, know that energy is more powerful than the form. And all we would suggest at this stage that you do is start to change your frequency to focus on what it is you want to experience rather than trying to push against what you don't want to experience. And as you raise your frequency to the energy that you want to feel inside, so the physical world around you, through the process of sometimes the miraculous, changes. And you find that doors appear where before there were only walls. And people soften, people change around you as you soften and as you change. We are infinitely powerful beings. And it's now time to stop worshipping at the wall of fear and step into the field of love.
I agree with you completely.
That's the transformation that we're making at the moment. And it's a moment by moment by moment
Just know
choice.
it's a process.
Yes.
And it's to accept exactly where you are in any moment. And if you went into judgment, you go, okay, I went into judgment. And I can bring myself back and I feel better when I'm back. So you're coming back home. You're coming back into your presence, into your true essence. And that's the place where things change. That's the place where we heal. We heal ourselves, we heal relationships, we heal our bodies. We heal in the place of our essence, in our true power. So as long as we know that when we're moving away from that, and it's the stories that we tell ourselves that move away from it. So you might say, yes, I actually want to be in peace, but there's this story that I'm very attached to, that this one shouldn't be running that country and this shouldn't be happening over there. In that moment, you've gone into separation. It's just to notice it. It's not to say it's not going to happen, because we do have very busy minds, but the more we actually practice it, the more we see it, the less it actually has control of us. So the less our minds go into those stories, because you're not feeding the fuel. You're not fueling them with more story. Because so often, we say we want to change and we don't want to suffer, but there's this one thing that I definitely can't let go of, or this one thing that I won't be happy until I've got it, or I've sorted it out, or I've achieved it, or whatever it is. So in that moment, we've separated ourselves from the flow. So just to know that. And then to have the conscious ability to bring ourselves back again, over and over again. If it has to be 250 times a day. Because that's eventually what this whole process is about. So, and we can choose. I think there's there seems to be a split happening actually on our planet, but it's for us not to be split. It's for us to actually stay in the non-dual as much as possible.
Yeah.
That's I would say that's the easiest way, and to accept that the unknown is the unknown, and that things are changing quite rapidly and quite unpredictably, and we don't know where it's going. So if we place our sense of security on the outside world being a certain way that we want it to be, we're going to suffer. Whereas if we say, this is evolving the way it needs to evolve, I'm here, I'm present, aware, and I'm in my power, whatever happens out there, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm home.
Because the moment we resist the world out there, we're giving our power away. We're giving our power away to the world of form. And the process that we're going through right now is a process of empowerment, not disempowerment. And it's all about energy. It's all about energy. There was a teacher 2,000 years ago that said, why do you concern yourself so much with the splinter in the other out there when you've got a log in your own eye? And that log is our perception, the way we're seeing the world. Are you seeing the world through eyes of fear or eyes of love? Are you seeing the world through eyes of disconnection, of the other, the wrong? Or are you seeing the world through love, which is a sense of oneness in our awareness? The other is part of who and what you are. It's the same as one drop of water in the ocean judging another drop of water in the ocean. All there is a separation. There's a separation, there's a polarization. When you as a drop recognize the other drop as the same ocean you are, that's the dissolvement of the sense of separation. And that is what love is. And what the world needs now is not more separateness, not more fear, but more love. And we are the creators of the new world. You know, to give birth to anything, not necessarily easy. It can be quite frightening. But this is a beautiful process, and the outcome is absolutely beautiful. Not in the way that the mind might want, not in the way that the ego might want, but in the way that the true essence of being, of presence, of the divine spirit, the Holy Spirit, that we are, is ordaining.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is that what the world needs now is not for us to be right all the time.
Or the personality.
It's okay to just not know. I don't know is fine. It's actually a quite empowering statement. I don't know, actually. I don't think I'm right all the time.
Yeah.
That opens up a whole different energy when we hold a space of not knowing, not being sure of our ego mind that might be right or wrong.
And not needing to be right.
Not
There's
needing to be
thing.
right. Doesn't matter.
Let go of the personality needs to be right. The ego needs to be right. Who you are, the infinite being, does not need to be right at all. It's only the mind that needs to be right.
So words surrender.
Yeah,
acceptance,
that's a good one. Yeah.
Allow.
Yeah. And just to let you know that we have a few retreats coming up. Next month I'm running a men's retreat, a men's only retreat from the 6th to the 11th, if I'm not mistaken, in South Africa, in Natal at the Buddhist Retreat Center. And then the week after that we are doing a combined retreat. That's a shift experience, also at the Buddhist Retreat Center.
That's in KwaZulu-Natal.
South Africa. And then the month after that we're doing a retreat in our most favorite place, which is Hogsback in the Amatola Mountains. And that is a truly magical place for shifting. Really a magical place.
That'll go out this week if you're on our
mailing list. Or if you're not on the mailing list, you can also join our WhatsApp group by going to our website, journeysofawakening.com, and the link there to join our WhatsApp group. And all the information will go out there.
Yeah, and on our newsletter.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay,
so we're going to join. We're going to choose. We're going to choose an affirmation card. So we've got a whole lot of cards here, and Michelle is going to just choose one, any card, but it's got to be the right one. Is that the right one?
Yeah.
It is. Lovely. She chose a blue card. What's blue about, the color blue?
Um, it's usually mind. It's usually the I'm sorry, the
Throat.
communication. Yeah.
Throat. It's about communication. It's about a sense of oneness. It can also be emotion, by the way, blue. And it's a sense of oneness, because if you think of the blue sky or the blue ocean, they're all one. It's an energy of connection. It's my favorite color, blue. Right, so you're going to incorporate that in the ending meditation.
Let's just settle in for a little meditation before we leave. So just making yourself comfy, putting your feet on the ground if you're sitting up, hands resting softly in your lap or next to you, and bring in a beautiful deep breath in all the way up to the top of your chest. And then hold for a moment and then release all the breath slowly, 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 slowly. So just a few breaths where we are focusing on the out breath, not the in breath. So breathing in, and then a long, slow out breath as you blow through your mouth like you're blowing through a straw. Allow all the air to go out. Another deep breath in. And on the out breath, start to relax your body. Start to allow your shoulders to soften and drop. Allow your hands to rest really gently wherever they are. And now just notice the breath. You're not trying to make it into anything that it needs to be. You're just noticing as it enters through your nostrils and how it exits. And how miraculously there is another breath at the end of the out breath. And just noticing this beautiful flow. Each breath is a beginning and an ending. Each and every breath. So we are constantly in process. We are being breathed by life. We are being lived by life. And all we need to do is show up and fully participate in that process. Just allowing your body to soften. Imagine a beautiful, very gentle wave of mother of pearl energy coming in through the top of your head and starting to fill your body from your head. Allow that energy, that beautiful, nurturing, nourishing, caring, soft, gentle energy. Allow that to move around and clear away whatever is no longer needed in your head. Any stories that you no longer need to hold on to. Any resentments, any attachments, any concerns, fears. Just allow them to wash all the way down through your body and through your feet at the bottom, into the earth beneath you. Allow this energy to clear away any cobwebs, any tightness, any resistance, any separation, anything blocking your light. Allow it to move through you and dissolve. There's no need to carry it. Allow this light to move through your whole body now. All the way through your torso, all the way down your spine, through your arms and into your hands, down into your legs, into your feet. Allowing whatever is no longer needed to leave, to release it, let go of it, just in this moment. And now bring focus to your heart center. And breathe into it as if you could breathe into a lung, as if it was a lung. It was expanding on the in-breath and then relaxing on the out-breath. And with each in-breath and with each out-breath, your heart softens and opens and allows, accepts, appreciates. So softening even more, opening even more, putting your shoulders down even more. Allowing yourself to really drop into this present state of being, this true place of your power. This place where there is nothing to do, nothing to fix, just to be here now. Just allow yourself to luxuriate in this precious place, just for a few more moments. Noticing the breath. If there are thoughts that are coming in or worries that are coming in, just see them, become aware of them, and then let them drift on past like a cloud in the sky. Just let it go. And bring yourself back to your heart, back to your breath. If there's a discomfort or a tightness, do the same thing. Breathe into it and then soften and release. Our card for the evening is I choose to bring my full attention and focus into the now. I choose to bring my full attention and focus into the now. Now just give thanks for this evening, or if you're watching it on YouTube, give thanks for these beautiful souls that have gathered together. Give thanks to life for facilitating you to be here. In the Satsang, on this YouTube call, on this planet, right now, as we experience these beautiful, beautiful changes. So now take a deep breath in. And a long, lovely breath out. And when you're ready, you can gently start to open your eyes.
Thank you, that was lovely.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you all for being with us, and just take this one thing with you away from here tonight. Just remember what we said earlier about the word cosmos. The word cosmos feels order. So even if you are experiencing disorder in your personal life, or you're seeing it in the world around you, just know that there is an order underlying the chaos. And out of that chaos will come a beautiful new order, which will become so apparent and so beautiful in the time to come. So just take that with you, that you are guided and you are protected, every single step of the journey. We love you. Take care. We look forward to catching up with you in 2 weeks' time.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I'll post a copy of this affirmation card on the page.
Thanks all. Have a lovely week.
Thank you.